it's evolved significantly. I felt like Conquest has been a bit of a missing link for me, because I started really looking at financial coaching a long time ago, and felt like there was a big gap between the coaching and the advice part, and something needed to fill that gap. And Conquest came along at the perfect time, because I felt in a position where I wasn't giving enough value to clients. The planning piece was a lot more important than the actual advice itself. And there was just like a little link up in the middle that was missing, and Conquest it just plugged straight into that and have much more detailed conversations. And the power with clients has just been phenomenal. Like I was having a chat with one of your UK guys this morning, and I've had clients actually start crying because they've just been overwhelmed, I guess is probably one way of putting it, and amazed at how good this is, because they've never sat down and really planned their future before. And you can do this all on some really intuitive charts. You can play around with it. It's a phenomenal piece of kit. And it's my process now is every client has a financial plan built for them. If they don't want one, we don't work together. Every client, and I'm not even joking when I say that, like every client that I've sat down and presented this report to, I've got a really robust plan in place for when they're going to run out of money, obviously before they kind of implement the advice, when they're going to run out of money, what tax they're going to pay, what the assets look like, what impact inflation has. And when you put that plan together and model it with the charts and the tables, depending on how the client wants that represented, it just really hits home of the value of advice and what that product that you plug into the back end. See, I used to think that the value was the advice itself, but now I've actually realized the value is the planning, and the advice just plugs into the back end of it. And previously, if somebody reached out to me and said, Ian, I just want to have a conversation with you or build a plan, it would be, no, I only give advice. Whereas now I've done this for people that want to implement the strategies themselves, because they're business owners or they're financially astute and they know how to do this, and I can do that. And the value for them is phenomenal, because they've sat down with a financial advisor who hasn't tried to sell them a product, hasn't tried to sell them a solution, who's built a plan based on what they've currently got. And for me, that's incredibly powerful. And the clients that I've had that, the feedback's just been immense, right? Really happy with what's been done and how it's all been built. I love the fact that it plugs into our back office system, so that I'm not duplicating the information again. I have had experience with other cash flow tools where it's almost duplicating the fact find information. I love the fact that it plugs in, how accessible it is. It's incredibly intuitive and smart, and it's just really simple to use. I think the initial training for me felt a little bit overwhelming, because it was brand new and something that I've never done before previously. And now I've gone from building a plan with a client offline to presenting that plan just in the PDF format to actually doing it live with a client. And when you do that live with a client, it's incredibly powerful. And it's so simple to do that they can actually see the plan all pulled together in front of their eyes, and it's great. I love the little pie chart on the top, which has how far along you are percentage-wise to your goal. And what I've been doing certainly for the past few plans is having a goal built, show them their current position at what percentage, talk them through why they're short, talk them through why they can't do what they need to do, walk them through a couple of the charts underneath and what their net worth looks like, what their tax position looks like, what their retirement pay slip looks like. And for that's Mr. and Mrs. So they've all been couples at this point. And then implement those strategies and say, well, if you put £500 a month into your pension, it does this. If you then saved into an ISA, it does that. And you can see it just build layer and layer and layer on time. And it's like a real penny drop moment for a client, because they can see, well, actually, I'm going to be okay. And the vast majority of the times, it hasn't been me saying to a client, you're not going to be okay when you take some drastic action. In fact, it's been the opposite. It's been, we've got some relatively simple stuff that we can implement now that will make sure you get there, rather than like the wholesale stuff. And that was what was quite surprising, because I thought it would have been big wholesale changes that make the difference, because that's what you traditionally think advice is, whereas it's been the little layers and little things that you can implement, and the clients can see how simple it is to do that. And if they want to go do it themselves, great. Like, I'm a big believer in educating clients and showing them the stuff. If they can go and do it, awesome. If they want me to do it, that's also great as well. Oh, hands down. I think it's so intuitive and it's so simple once you get into it and you understand how it works, how it all pulls together. I think the support in terms of the Conquest University is phenomenal as well. If you've got a problem or a challenge, you can look into that and you can see how to fix it. The support at the end of a phone, end of an email if you need it. There is really detailed examples through Conquest University as well. And it's easy to change things around. It's easy to build your own strategies. I think the SAM element in the auto planning, the training session just completely blew my mind because it's automatic financial planning, and that is only going to get clever, right? As AI improves, as technology improves, it's only going to add value, and it's a great sense check because I can look at a report and think, okay, what would I do? What would I implement to make this work? And then you can look at the auto function on SAM, turn that on. 99% of the time, it's just backing up what you're already doing for a client, and it's a phenomenal piece of kit. It's really, really good, really powerful. It's cost effective as well. And I think the training has been first class as well, because I've had training on some of the bigger ones, Voyant in particular, in the past, and the training was pretty substandard, and it was just too complicated to get into. I think that might have changed over the years, I don't know, but I just love the ease of how you can make this work. The ease of use and the ease it is to navigate around it and to do that in front of a client. Now I've got the confidence of doing that. It's relatively simple, and the report that you put at the back end is a lot of it's customizable. You can pick the charts that you want to put in. You can kind of have conversations with client. I love the multi-year cash flow stuff as well. The StatNet works really well, and it's so you can change so much for each client, and a lot of the time, well, in fact, every time with a client, I'll kind of go through the basic screens of these are the standard reports. What else would you like included? And someone said, well, what about my tax position? Bang, there's a button. You press a button. That's your tax position. That's how much you're going to pay. Well, what would be the impact of inflation? There you go. That's the impact of inflation. It's just really intuitive. And what I love about it, and I've only been using it for about 6 months, it seems to be getting better. Like every update seems to be bringing something better and something more effective to use in front of clients. Get a trial. Like get a trial. Have a conversation with the Conquest team. Spend some time really looking at it, and figure out if that's going to be exactly what you need. Look, I don't think what I love about Conquest is you're not saying you're the best financial planning tool and cash flow forecasting software out there. It's about what works for you, and I've found this works really well for me and my clients and what I'm trying to deliver for them, and it will probably do the same for you. And it's like I said, it's getting better over time. Every update there's something new that comes in that's improving the experience. I know there's some big stuff coming. When I had a little bit of training, spoke to one of the guys, I said eventually you're going to be able to talk to it. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal piece of kit. So rather than kind of playing around with buttons, you could talk to it and it will just plan your stuff out. I think it's so powerful. And for the advisors out there that aren't doing it, the real wake-up call for me was, if one of my clients came across somebody who's doing this cash flow modeling stuff and doing it really effectively, I've lost that client because it's so powerful. And that was the reason why I wanted to do this, is to be able to put my arms around my clients and to be able to say, if you come across another advisor, yes, they may be a better returns. They can't, because actually we're independent. We can all recommend from the same universe of funds. But I'm doing everything I can to give maximum value to that client. And that's ultimately why I do this job. Yes, it pays my bills and it pays it quite handsomely, but I've got to look after my clients. I've got to look after them really well. And this is just another part that does that. So I've only been using it for for new clients so far. As the reviews are now coming up for existing clients, that's going to be a part of that strategy as well. It's just going to elevate it even further. I think when I've come across clients who've got advisors who don't use this stuff, it's completely blown their mind. And I said, I'm moving straight away. Like, there's no question about it. And it's a feedback I've had is like, Ian, this is a very different experience to anything that I've ever had. You've been so thorough, so detailed. You understand what's really important to me. Let's move. And that is, since I've started implementing this, every single client I've come across that uses an existing financial advisor, because I'm a big believer that a lot of financial advice is just transactional, and this shows that it isn't. It's behaviors, it's goals based, it's culture. It's a phenomenal piece of kit to just protect your business, protect your clients, and make sure you're doing the right thing by them.